Alright, so, this next Patreon request comes from Gordon Rajani, who asked me to talk about, like, what I'd like to see in My Adventures with Superman Season 2. As always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon where you guys can start sending requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But other than that, let's get it. Also, hit the third tier for Patreon requests. That'll allow you to get access to Patreon requests. But other than that, let's get started with the video. So, My Adventures with Superman, the first season, great. Loved it. It's been the best. It's nice to see a Superman who's good. It's nice to see a Superman who's all good, rather than some dark and brooding, fascist who wants to kill people. And also, I can only take so many evil, what if Superman but evil bullshit for so long. I could really only take that for so long. It's nice. It's nice to see a good Superman who is generally good. And I am very. They already said, like, yeah, we're already in the midst of making season 2. They had already confirmed that season 2 was already in the making. We don't know a confirmation for we don't have a confirmation for that for the new season yet, but I can tell you that I am excited. Now, Gordon basically asked me, like, what I'd like to see in season 2. Like, that the question is, like, what would I want to see in this upcoming Superman season? First and foremost, while I have done videos talking about, like, I've done fanfiction idea videos of, like, My Adventure with Batman and another with My Adventures with Wonder Woman. Also, sidebar, I did put up a poll on Patreon as to who should be the next story of My Adventures with Superman, like, what new character, and I'm not going to spoil it, but if you want to be part of those polls, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, hit the first tier, all that good stuff. But yeah. So, first and foremost, while I would love to see the rest of the DC universe in this continuity, and we do know that, like, there are some, especially Gotham's out there. We've got to see Vicky Vale, but I personally think we should keep the superhero team-up stuff at a minimum. Maybe Batman at most. Like, we've already established Gotham. You might as well bring in the world's finest in Season 2. But I don't want this to be like what the Mandalorian Season 2 was, which was basically, let's have Din Djarin do a team-up with every other known character, because Dave Filoni can't help but, pat himself on the back of, like, look at all these characters I bring in. Look how great I am. Thank you, Dave. I really appreciate it. Oh yeah, great. Ahsoka's been mediocre at best. It's really fine. Oh yeah, thank you. I'm sorry, I need to get off that. That's a topic for when Ahsoka is over. Anyway, but yeah. Where was I? I was like this. Oh yeah, now I don't remember where I am. This really just needs to be a Superman show. Do I want to see other DC Universe characters? Yeah. And like I said, really, you just need Batman. I really just would like to see the world's finest in this continuity, and that's really it. Save Wonder Woman, save the Flash, save the others for Season 3. But for right now, this still needs to be a Superman cartoon, not a Superman team-up cartoon, is what I'm saying. Like, I don't need it to be a Superman, I don't need this to be a Superman team-up show. That's Superman DC Comics Presents. Anyway, so as for what I'd like to see in the show, obviously we're going to get more of Brainiac. We're going to get more of who we believe is Zod, but which is interesting because it might not be Zod, because in the credits, it's a female voice actress who did the voice of the Kryptonian. So some people have thrown out the idea that maybe in this universe, Kara Zor-El was captured, found by Zod and raised by him. And yeah, that would be a fascinating take. Others have said, like, maybe Brainiac is using her. Who knows? But Brainiac seems more like an advisor. Like, he's more like a, technical advisor to Zod or whoever this is. So, I'm very curious to see how this will play out with Brainiac and Zod, if that's who it is. It could be Feora or Ursa. I think that the show I would really like to see some villains who aren't made from Kryptonian tech. Not to say that like the whole thing of like making them out of technology is a bad thing. I would like to see some more like characters made from, get their own abilities, like get their superpowers from other means. Like I'd love to see like the actual Parasite, Rudy Jones, actually be like the Parasite we know. So, it was cool with Ivo, especially turning into that big kaiju thing, but I think I would like to see Rudy Jones here and be the actual Parasite. I would like to see maybe Superman explore with magic and have Silver Banshee actually become the Silver Banshee from the comics where it's supernatural, so now Superman has to battle a supernatural entity. But I don't want this to be all like the comics. I really don't want it to be all like the comics. While I would like to see other classic Superman villains like, Bizarro. I'd love to see their take on Bizarro. How I would actually make Bizarro in here is, I think what I would like to do and how I would make this version of Bizarro is that they have taken, like, Task Force X has extrapolated DNA from Superman during his capture, and I would have it that they were trying to make their own super soldier to battle the incoming Kryptonian invasion. And what they were trying to do is make their own soldier. It went horribly wrong, and Bizarro is just a failed experiment, looking for purpose, and is now used as like a mindless soldier to attack Superman. Or it could be a perfect clone of another way they could do Bizarro in this universe is make him, he starts out like a perfect clone, kind of like in the 90s cartoon, but then he slowly degenerates. But how I would have it is like he's perfect at first, but the more he fights and he's like the more deranged he becomes, and then he slowly devolves into the "Me am Bizarro, you am dead." Something like that. I would really like to see some other Superman villains up in here. Maybe like the Master Jailer. He's an obscure Superman villain. I would really like to see the Master Jailer. Maybe in this continuity, you could have him like he can control metal. Make Gotham into a giant penitentiary. Not Gotham, Metropolis, into a giant prison, like he did during Superman 4 All Seasons. Another villain I would love to see, but I think he would work better as a secondary major villain over Zod. Well, I'm just going to call him Zod until we know otherwise. The Zod and Brainiac thing is over, and maybe have him as a secondary villain is Mongol. I would love to see Mongol in this continuity. Have him as like a big hulking, world-faring, war world, conquering worlds. I would have it be like Superman has to battle him head on, and I would love to have that. I would love to just have Mongol in here. Cyborg Superman would be really cool. Is another great villain I would love to see done in here. How I would do Cyborg Superman actually is introduce Hank Henshaw first, and have it that he's an ally to Superman, kind of like Dr. Brown has always been for Star, and have it that Hank Henshaw works for Star Labs and be like an ally to Superman, like he has befriended Superman, and maybe later in the season, a horrible accident involving Kryptonian technology happens, he's horribly mangled, and Brainiac reaches into his mind and manipulates Hank Henshaw, driving him fully insane and making him into the cyborg Superman we know. So Cyborg Superman's another major one. Manchester Black and the Elite would also be great, and really play with a new adaptation of what's so funny about truth and justice in the American way. I would absolutely love to see how that would new because it would also be a great dig at what people want superheroes to be now, where they're all grim and they kill people, and everyone loves Homelander and Omni-Man. Maybe that can be the thing, is that maybe in this continuity, this version of Manchester Black and the Elite are trying to push Superman to be like a Omni-Man or Homelander or Regime Superman. something, something, and this is like the whole thing of, no, that's stupid. And like Superman could be like, no, I'm better than that. I am, I can be much more than that. That's what I'm saying. As for, like, another character I think deserves to be here is Kelex, or Kelex, depending on how you say it. Ooh, excuse me. That was a surprise hiccup there. Sorry. So professional on this channel. Kelex, since we don't have Jor-El anymore, I think it would be kind of cool to have it that Kelex was activated after the destruction of the ship, and now he's like, hello, Master Cal, I am Kelex. I am your, I was programmed to be your hiccups. Your caregiver, now that your father is no longer with you. Something like that would be cool. Ugh, fucking hiccups. But anyway, you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you want out of My Adventures with Superman Season 2? Just comment below, let me know. Once again, I'd like to thank Gordon Rajani for this Patreon request and continued patronage. Other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.